Hi everyone, it's Pretty Raichura, luxury wedding planner, and once again I'm back. It's Thursday evening, and you know me, it's time for that chat. And today I am going to be having a chat with Biant, who's a celebrant, and a lot of you are probably wondering what is a celebrant and what kind of ceremonies do they conduct? And of course, do Indian people use celebrants? Well, we are going to find out very, very shortly when we invite Jazz to join us. So let me just see if I can add Jazz to the screen. There we go. Hi, Jazz.
Hello,
Hi,
how
how
are you
you
doing?
doing?
Okay.
Yes, thank you. How are you? Good evening to you.
All right, thank you. Good evening to you, and thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us, and it's a real pleasure having you here live on Facebook and on YouTube, and of course on various different social media platforms as well. And I'm sure people that are joined in watching us here live tonight are wanting to know lots and lots more about you. I certainly know a fair bit about you because I've had the
Yeah,
pleasure of working with you
yeah,
on many occasions. But I thought it would be really nice if we can chat about the work that you do because it's very bespoke, it's very special, and it's different. It's
it is.
different to what Asian weddings are used to. And I thought, now we're going through the period that we're going through, where lockdown is easing and people are planning their weddings for next year. What better time than now to actually have
Mm,
this chat
mm.
with yourself. So thank you again for joining in, and I'd just like to say a very warm welcome to everybody that's joining us live on Facebook as well. I'm just going to try and see if I can keep the comments coming in because last time, yep, we have got the comments. So yes, a very
Good.
warm welcome to everyone. Now, Jazz, I know that you live in Nottingham,
I do.
and we've like I said, we've had the pleasure of meeting each other on many occasions when you've travelled to Leicester at weddings,
Yeah.
and not just weddings at other places as well. But I'm not going to do all the talking. You're going to do the talking tonight.
Okay.
But we've had the pleasure of working together as well on many occasions, and I thought it would be great to have you on the screen tonight and talk about the work that you do because I think it's really different, and I think that it's a bit of a niche, and lots more people, certainly as a wedding planner, are requesting that they would like a celebrant. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we spoke to a Hindu priest, but you're totally different. So tell me a little bit more about what a celebrant actually does.
Well, a celebrant, it's a fairly new concept, I think, to the Asian community. Not many Asian people know a lot about what celebrants do, but celebrants have been officiating ceremonies since forever, really. Um, but I'm only one of two Asian celebrants in the whole of the UK. I'm certainly the only one north of London.
Okay.
And so, there are very few of us, but there's a lot that we can bring to the table because basically I'm a creative writer. I write bespoke ceremonies.
Tell me a
So,
little bit more about that
yeah,
because that's the interesting bit. Because
yeah,
if
it
I
is.
had the pleasure of getting married again or renewing my vows, I want to know a little bit about
Which,
that.
oh, I'll do that for you, Priti. Basically,
Yeah.
I meet up with couples and we look at their love story, their journey together, how they met, what their culture is, their traditions, their family rituals, their background, their everything and anything can be incorporated into a ceremony. And that's what makes it so personal because it is centralized and focused around the couple. It's not a bog standard script. Many of us have been to registry offices. I'm not knocking it, but it is, pre-written,
Mm.
and we all know the script. I do solemnly declare, or
Yeah. Yeah.
dearly beloved, and all that kind of thing. So there are standard scripts that we know happen, and even in religious ceremonies, we have a fairly standard format with religious ceremonies. But quite often, I get approached by couples who may be from, say, different backgrounds, and they want to incorporate a bit of both into their ceremony. They don't want either or they're not practicing, they don't feel comfortable with the religious ceremony, but they want it to be about them. So
Um,
my ceremonies are are so personalized, and they're all very, very different. So no two ceremonies are ever alike.
Right.
I mean, I can write things like, I can find poetry that fits around,
Sure.
their hobbies, whatever. We can incorporate whatever they want.
Okay. And you said something about, if they're from different backgrounds, you can incorporate that. Now, that's a really important point, because I know I met you last year where you were part of a wedding that I had been planning for some time, and we came across you. And the bride, she was from a Hindu background. The groom was from a Christian background. And you took the elements that were special to them from
Yeah.
the Hindu religious texts and also from the Bible, and you brought that together, and that was really creative. And I remember being
Thank you.
really impressed by what you did, because you took out the main parts of what was special to the bride and of course to the groom as well. And of course they were not both orthodox Hindus or Christians, but they had a belief, and you brought those beliefs together in the ceremony that you kind of conducted.
Yeah, and I think as well as the beliefs, I can bring in a bit of language, because obviously I'm from Punjabi background, but I speak Hindi, bit of Urdu, and obviously Punjabi is my main language. But I can bring in those bits that they want, so that they can include the elders as well. Even if it's just a welcome to the elders and giving them some respect in that ceremony, so they feel included. And that's what a celebrant ceremony is about. It's about being inclusive and being creative with how we present it. So we can put in whatever they want and leave out whatever they don't like about, their tradition or whatever it is that they're not happy with.
Sure.
In some ceremonies, I've included things like, sports that one or other of them is very into. That's their religion. It's not necessarily one of the main faiths. It is their religion. And one ceremony I did, we talked a lot about rugby, because that was the guy's big passion in life, and he really wanted rugby mentioning. So we made it quite quirky that way. But I think it's all about being inclusive and making sure those beliefs are really respected. And I am very respectful when I do the ceremonies. I make it very clear that I'm not a priest, I'm not a minister, I'm actually a celebrant, I'm non-religious, but I can bring in those elements that are important to you, whatever they are.
Now, you just said obviously you're not a priest, which we know and you've explained. And you've also spoke about showing some respect to the elderly that are probably set in their own ways because they're used to having a priest at ceremonies. And we know times are changing now. Youngsters want something that's very bespoke, very personal to them. How do you actually ever come across any challenges with some of the elders, and how do you help the youngsters that really want a celebrant as opposed to a priest convince the elders?
Well, I think, they make their choices, and quite often they have a lot to say now. I mean, that as a planner, the couple have a lot to say, whereas before, perhaps in my day, it was more down to our parents how it went, so we had very little say. But the young people are more educated, what have you, they are vocal, and they are very clear on what they want. But quite often I have to say to them, rein it in a little bit, because we need to make sure we don't alienate your elders. And I make sure I'm there before the ceremony to talk to their guests if they want to talk to me. So I get to know them, they get a bit friendly, they realise that I'm there to do the ceremony. And I had one elderly lady say to me, make sure you speak all in Punjabi, because I don't speak any English. And I said, well, I'll do what I can, but obviously, I will include you. And I did say a few words, I had to wing it a little bit more, because I realised at that ceremony there were a lot of people who didn't speak not fluent English anyway. They wanted a bit more Punjabi, so I included a few phrases at the beginning. That's what I mean about being creative. You have to sometimes adapt when you meet your audience. You're not going to meet the whole family before the wedding. So on the day I was under a little bit of pressure, was told that. And the thing that really threw me was Sikh priest came and sat on the front row.
That must have been a challenge. That must have been quite scary for you.
Yeah, so Gyaniji came and sat on the front row, and he sat like this. So I was quite, with his arms folded. So I was, okay, let's see how this goes. And then he stared at me the whole time.
You did really.
And he was quite emotionless. I was a little bit unnerved by that, but I thought, okay, this is going to go fine. We'll just go with it. Did the whole ceremony, and he came up to me and he actually congratulated me, and he said, that was really lovely, thank you for doing that, and thank you for bringing in the Gurbani, because I thought you weren't going to do that, and it's nice that you did say a few words about Sikhi. And obviously, you know, with Hindu ceremony, same sort of thing, I can bring in whatever religious elements the family request.
Yes.
But obviously, it's very important for me to say at the beginning that, as I said, I'm not a priest, I'm not a minister. I'm here to conduct a ceremony that's personalised to the wants and desires of the couple.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I noticed that last year when, you know, we were both involved in the wedding that I was planning, and I noticed, you know, you do exactly that, and how inclusive you were of both the bride's family who were Hindu and the groom's family Christian, and you made them all feel really special. So that was really impressive. So I was certainly impressed by that, and I'm sure I'm not sure. I know that the guests were really impressed by that. That was really good. Another question. So how does it work with you for destination weddings? Because destination weddings, you know, are extremely popular, and with the whole pandemic thing, and you know, with what's going on here in the UK, you know, the future of weddings here in the UK, the big fat Indian wedding, we are still unsure in terms of what's going to happen. You know, we know that weddings will obviously go ahead, but we don't know how long the social measuring, you know, how long all these measures will still be in place for. So some countries, as you know, a couple of weeks ago, I also spoke to one of the destination wedding planners that I work with, and some countries are actually opening up their doors to people from, you know, other countries for them to get married there. In terms of yourself, how comfortable and how many destination weddings have you done? How does it work for, you know, clients to fly you out at a destination to conduct their ceremony?
Yeah, that's perfectly possible. I mean, quite often I'm getting a bit of feedback here.
Yeah, I think if I can ask you, it's because you're moving around, and I think it's again. Yeah, just maybe try and stay as still as possible.
Okay.
I know we're not news broadcasters, are we? We're just having a bit of a chit chat, everyone, and you're all joining in. And while you just position yourself, I just like to bring in a couple of people that are saying hello. So we've got Sonal Ben Dave from London, who's saying hello to both of you. Thank you, Sonal. I hope you're well. Ravi Shukla, you're saying hi as well. Neelam Sangha saying hi, ladies. Simran Badial, thank you for joining us as well. We have Padmaja Sivan saying hi, Jazz, enjoying your chat. So thank you very much for joining us live tonight. So sorry, yes, going back. Sorry, Jazz, just try and remain as still as possible. I know it's hard, but it just.
I'm used to fidgeting.
Yeah.
So yeah, just going back to destination weddings. Absolutely no problem. You know, the couple, obviously they can take a priest with them if they want to, but they can also take a celebrant. Beauty of taking the celebrant, you get that ceremony that you want and the destination that you want it. Celebrants can actually perform ceremonies anywhere. So we're not bound by them having to be in registered premises, licensed premises. The wedding ceremony that we carry out is not a legal ceremony, so that's really important to say for people bookers, that we can't legally marry, but it's exactly the same as you would have, say you had your Hindu ceremony, you would still have to have a signing of a register to make it legal in the UK. So people choose or you know, one or the other. Sometimes I've done a wedding where they've had a Hindu ceremony and had a legal ceremony, and they've had the actual celebrant ceremony. So the celebrant ceremony can be their white wedding, their walking down the aisle with dad, you know, the flower girls, the whole shebang that a lot of brides want. We can incorporate that into your celebrant wedding. In terms of the destination weddings that you asked me about, it's very common. A lot of clients, I'm sure you know this anyway, Brittany, that couples will do their legal here in the UK. And I think it costs between £50 and £100. They go down to the local registry office. It's just like registering a birth or, another life event. 2 witnesses, and you do a very small ceremony and do a signing. That gives you a legal document. It also gives you the flexibility to have the ceremony how you want it, where you want it, in the venue you want it, even in the country you want it. So there's no dictating to you then how your ceremony goes. And that's where I come in.
No, I absolutely. And I think that's really nice. Again, so if couples were to have got married, had their civil ceremony here in this country, so the legal documents are there. If for whatever reason it's needed abroad on the beach, can just be that symbolic kind of ceremony again, because that's what a lot of brides want, don't they?
Yeah.
They want that romantic, symbolic ceremony underneath the moonlit sky, and that can be done. It can be done, can't it?
Yeah, romance, whatever they want. I know other celebrants have done Star Wars ceremonies. So when they've had Star Wars fans, they've had people dress up in costume. So, sky is the limit in what we can actually do. I use a lot of symbolism if they want it. So, you might have heard of hand fasting, where we tie hands together. So the couple, their hands tied, and different members of the family come and tie a ribbon around their hand of the joining of the couple. So that's a lovely ceremony where we can involve family members, sort of, giving the couple their blessing.
Sure.
We can do a candle ceremony where they have a large candle to signify their own light as a couple, and then the 2 mothers give their children a candle each, and they light the middle candle to, a joint light of their love.
That is so lovely, because again, it's very personal, isn't it? So you can do whatever they want.
Yeah,
and I guess
it's very magical as well. And you often find that with celebrant ceremonies, people are talking about your ceremony a lot. And if you think about it, really, that's the key to getting married. It's your ceremony that's the most important bit. And yet we spend thousands on cakes and DJs and halls and all the rest of it. The coming together of a couple is about the words you say to each other, the commitment you make to one another, your ceremony, how it's performed, where it's performed. That's the important bit. And that's why I love being a celebrant, because it's the best job ever when you can see that delight on people's face.
Yeah. And me, about, me and all my weddings, in terms of how I like all my weddings to be really creative. So for me to work with a creative person like yourself in terms of the ceremony side is brilliant, because and of course, Jazz, couples can have the religious ceremony and then continue to have a symbolic romantic ceremony underneath the moonlit sky if they wish to do so, right?
Yeah, they can. And then also, you can invite different people to different things. You don't have to have them at everything. So if you want a celebrant ceremony with just all your friends and very close family, you can do that. There are other ceremonies you might be having where you want to invite the elders, the more traditional one. You know this because you do it every day. But, this flexibility is the key.
Sure. Absolutely. Now, we've got a question here that was emailed over from a potential client. One was making inquiries about your service, saying, we are from different backgrounds, so how can you incorporate our beliefs and cultures and traditions? I know you've just kind of touched up on this, but this has come from somebody who's just sent us an email saying, we are from different backgrounds, so can you incorporate any beliefs? How can you incorporate our beliefs, cultures and traditions? So maybe you just might want to reiterate that, because they
well, as I said, I spend a lot of time with my couples, because obviously I need to really get to know them. I have to really drill down into what it is they're about, so that reflects them in the ceremony. So whatever background they come from, we can incorporate that into that ceremony. So if they've got different belief systems, then I go away and do some research. I make sure that I get it right, and then I come back to them. So I spend a lot of time toing and froing with them and saying, is this okay? Do you want that in? Should we leave that out? So, you know, by the time I finished the ceremony, I've been working with them for a good few months. We actually are quite good friends. So, you know,
Yeah,
and I do find that a lot of my couples will say, we felt like you were a friend at the time and we really appreciated having you there. You really understood us.
sure.
And I think that's what it's about, that you don't just get the registrar who's on the rota on the day. You will get somebody you know who really gets you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's really important
Mm,
because again, you know, I can relate to that as well. You know, for a whole, you know, when you get to know your client, you're planning their wedding for a whole year, you really want to know what's
yeah.
going on in that head. What is it? You know, do they want that? You know, princess wedding? What is it that they actually want? Fairy tale wedding? What is it that they're looking for? And you really have to try and sometimes get it out of them because they don't always know what they want. You know, and their
No, they
minds
don't.
can change quite a lot over time as well. So I think it's really important to become their best friend over time. And isn't it lovely to continue with that friendship even afterwards and
Oh,
to be
yeah.
there when their babies are born? Because then
Oh,
that takes
yeah.
me on to other ceremonies that
Yeah.
you can also conduct as a celebrant. It's not just weddings, is it? You do other
No.
things as well.
Well, as I said, I do you said actually, I do vow renewals.
Hmm.
So couples who are perhaps reaching a significant milestone and they want to perhaps have the ceremony they want now rather than the one that their parents set for them, we can do a vow renewal. And I write their vows with them and make sure that they're really personalised to whatever they want, really. So very, very bespoke. And, you know, again, it's all about them. Once they've had children, I've had couples come back to me and we've done naming ceremonies
Oh,
which are beautiful because, again, you know, especially if you get couples who are from two different backgrounds, they sometimes can't agree on which way to go. They respect both, but can't have both. We just
yeah.
want one ceremony. So I did one recently for, well, last year actually, I did a really lovely ceremony in somebody's back garden, in the
Oh,
grandparents' garden.
oh,
So
lovely.
this is where, you know, we can make it so personal, and
Sure.
it was done in a place that was meaningful to that family. It was for two little girls aged 1 and 3, and the parents were of two different backgrounds, Greek and Indian.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So the mum called the girls Grindian girls.
Yeah,
So
I like that.
yeah, it's cute.
Drinking girls,
So, you know, that
lovely.
was incorporated in the ceremony, what she called her little girls, and they
Oh,
wanted they wanted to bring in the qualities of Greek goddesses
sure.
and Punjabi princesses.
Yeah.
So, you know, we brought all of those qualities in, and then they had readings from and promises from guide parents instead of godparents, which you hear of at christenings. You
Yeah.
have guide parents who promise the girls you know, what they're going to do with them when they're later in their life, that they'll take care of them, they'll have a listening ear, always, my door will always be open to you, whatever their wishes and
Yeah.
promises are. They made those promises.
Yeah.
And we linked up with people from Greece, you know, by video.
Oh,
So,
lovely.
you know, we were able to do that as well. So it's so flexible and it can be whatever they want it to be. So it was only a short ceremony, half an hour or so, because obviously with little ones, you can't hold their attention and they run away. So
No, no, absolutely. And you just
yeah,
spoke about a video, and I know we're on a video kind of call now, virtual chat.
yeah,
And that also has become quite popular, especially with the current situation that we're in.
yes,
Um, and you've also been conducting some virtual ceremonies, haven't you?
yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I don't. They're not my favourite because you know they're difficult. I think the thing is you don't get that personal touch as such because you're not there.
Yeah,
But yeah, I have done them, and I think Zoom ceremonies in particular, people are needing to have them because they can't have the numbers that they wanted
sure.
well, they can't have the numbers they actually want at their wedding.
Hmm.
So the great thing about Zoom and webcams and what have you is that you can include people from all over the world.
Hmm.
So we've had ceremonies where people have been in America and they've joined, you know, India, they've joined a ceremony.
Yeah,
Um, and, you know, that's lovely for families because it brings people together.
of course.
Um, we've done, you know, where people have lost their date because they can't have their ceremony. I've done commitment ceremonies just to mark their original date. So,
Yes.
you know, just to say, oh, this was our day, and
Yeah.
we still want to mark it. So we do
Yes.
a little reading, and
Yes.
perhaps they say a few vows to each other, promising to be there next year at the
Yes.
ceremony.
Yes.
So you know, that is the way
And
the
that's a
ceremony is
lovely
done.
gesture actually, because
Yeah.
I know that a lot of my weddings have been postponed to next year. And a lot of my clients have been asking, saying, well, what can we do? You know, I was supposed to be getting
Mm,
married on, you know, the 8th of May or the
mm,
27th of June. And some brides especially have been really upset by the fact that,
mm,
you know, they've put so much time and effort into planning their wedding with myself, and then of
yeah.
course, you know, it's all had to be postponed to next year. But of course, you can do something. You can do something to mark that day for them, can't you?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is really nice. So, you know, for those people that are probably tuned in, that know somebody who, you know, whose wedding is coming up, and they want to do something, but they don't quite know what. I guess they can come
Yeah.
and have a chat with you,
Yeah,
just
they
to,
can.
so that you can do maybe a virtual ceremony or even an outdoor ceremony. So I've got another question here from somebody else as well that has come through. Um, where can I hold my ceremony? Does it have to be held in a certain place, or can it be held anywhere?
Well, it can be held anywhere. Normally, what happens is that people choose a venue where they know that venue holds a license so that
Mm,
they can have their legal wedding there.
mm,
However, they can have their legal wedding there, but they can also have a celebrant ceremony, say, you know, outside under a favorite tree or by
yeah.
a lake in that venue. You know,
Mm,
we can make it special as they want it to be, so they can have it outdoors.
sure.
Um, they can have it in a family garden if they want it. You know, if your garden's big enough,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, you can have it anywhere really. Woodland weddings are, you know, very popular.
Yeah.
There are lots of people who want to have a rural setting.
Mm,
I'm celebrant for a pumping station, would you believe, in Nottinghamshire.
mm,
And, you know, they've got a very historic building, lots of ironwork, a very quirky place. Um, but, you know, I can do weddings within that place for them because there are people who, it's a steam venue.
all right.
Yeah, it's a pumping station with
Mm,
you know, originally pumped water by steam.
yeah.
So they've
Yeah.
got these huge machines, beautiful actually,
Yeah.
that make fantastic backdrop for your wedding.
Of
You know,
course.
to
Yeah.
have that kind of background is
Mm,
amazing. It's
yeah.
just
Yeah. I
so
can
beautiful,
imagine.
the ironwork and the history of it as well.
Yeah.
It's a real talking point.
And people want things that are different, don't they? You don't want, you know, lots of couples nowadays, they want to stand out, even if it's a small ceremony, they want it to look different. They want it to look different to their friend's wedding. They want it to be different. So again, that personal touch is there regardless of the venue. It's up to them. So they can marry in their back garden or get married at a pumping station wherever they wish.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you give them a certificate at the end of the ceremony?
Yeah,
You
yeah, they
do.
have a certificate. Yeah,
Mhm.
obviously, it's just a certificate from me. As I said, it has no legal value in that sense, but it's lovely because they have their photographs where they're signing a document. You know, and that's a lovely photo opportunity for them to sit down and be signing and all the rest of it. So it's lovely. And also, I give them a written copy of their ceremony,
Mhm.
and I give them one online as well, so that they can send that to people who perhaps couldn't attend the ceremony and they can read it.
Oh, okay.
You know, if it's not been recorded, it is mostly recorded, but just in
Yeah,
case it's not, they have a copy of their own ceremony, which I
yeah.
gift wrap for them and give them as a memento to keep.
That's really nice. And can fathers still walk their brides down the aisle?
Yeah, they can, and I haven't done a ceremony yet where that's not happened. I think
Okay.
that's been that's been one of
Okay.
the reasons they really wanted to do a
Yeah.
celebrant ceremony, because one or other of the parents or grandparents is going to walk them down. Usually the father,
Yeah.
but it has been other people as well. So
Mm.
yeah, that's quite a traditional thing that most brides want, and I'm sure you've seen that too. That
Yeah, yeah.
moment of dad
Of
and the
course.
flower girls and the
Yeah,
page boy and
yeah,
all that,
yeah.
you know,
So
bells and
it's
whistles. They want it all.
so it's kind of like a traditional ceremony if they want. if they want it to be, but it's the vows, it's the actual ceremony part itself that's actually very bespoke and very personal in terms of what they want it to be, something that you can't arrange with the registrar. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the registrars, as I said, you get who's on rota. So whoever, you may get a male, you may get a female,
Mm-hmm.
you haven't met them before, you've got no relationship with that person, which, you know, I mean, there's a place for that too. Some people want that, and that's fine. But if they want the personal touch,
Mm-hmm.
then obviously I will maneuver that however they want it. So the entrance part, which we're talking about, you know, that in terms of walking down the aisle, if they want that, that's what they get.
Sure.
And we make sure that we do a little rehearsal before and make sure it's exactly as they want it.
Sure. And I know that, we're talking about weddings here today, but Sonal from London has just said, not to forget that, you can even have your pet dogs, cats, and
Yeah,
goldfishes there, I guess, as well. It depends whatever,
yeah.
whoever and whatever is important to the couple, they
Well,
can have their
it
pet rabbits there or whatever.
they can indeed. They can have whoever they want or whatever they want, animals wise as well. That's fine, you know, in terms of
Yeah.
their pets.
Yeah.
But also, you know, there are some couples who are marrying for the second time
All right.
and they want a more bespoke ceremony. They may have children, you know, each of them may have children and they want to include their children into that ceremony. And
Sure.
I've done that too. So there's a ceremony that we can do, a little ritual, which is a sand ceremony, different colours of sand for the different people in the family. And they
Yeah.
pour it into a bottle, and that's a keepsake for them, signifying the blending of their families and the blending of that couple
Oh,
coming together. So, you
wow.
know, there's various things that we can do in terms of being creative. And that, I think, makes the children feel like they're really part of this and
Sure.
becomes a real celebration for them. Otherwise, I think it's difficult for the kids sometimes.
Hmm. So you said that, I loved what you just said about the sand and bringing the sand together because it's the joining of two families. Um, is this, did you learn all this? Did you have to go
Yeah,
through, get a qualification? Where do all these ideas come from?
I did. Well, some actually, some of them are your own creativity. Other celebrants share their creativity with you, and you think, oh, I can adapt that.
Yeah.
So I've done a ceremony. I've done a spice ceremony because obviously Indians love their
These
spice.
spices, oh my God. Yeah. With a bit
So
of
we
tadka
have,
at the end.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
this is it. We've added a few spices, and actually,
Yeah.
then they gave those spices out. That, you know, they were already pre-prepared, but their special spice blend was given to all their guests as a to signify, you know, a favor.
Right.
So, you know, it sort of comes together like that. So
Sure.
they'll
So
pour
what
it,
would they do
and
with it? Just kind of put it on their.
yeah, they keep it
Yeah.
as a keepsake of their wedding day. And
Sure.
it's again, it's about the blending of those
Oh,
spices coming
yeah.
together.
Of
And
course.
also we talk about the significance of each of those spices. Like, you know, husband might have a fiery temper, so we've got a bit of red pepper going in there, you know. So,
Ah, okay.
so
Lovely.
or you know, wife maybe
Yeah.
might love the smell of, you know, a particular spice, and we put that in.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're able to then use that as a favor for their guests, as I said, and we've had that before as well, and people love it. Oh my
Yeah.
God, you know, I've got this special spice from your
Yeah.
wedding.
Yeah.
So as you said, everybody likes their wedding to be memorable.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
want people to be talking about it afterwards,
Of course.
and
And of
obviously if you've
course,
got
yeah.
cooking with it as well. So
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. And you
yeah,
can
it's
bring in the whole family, so it can be,
yeah, yeah,
inclusive of family, friends, those that are close to you. It
yeah,
can be very inclusive. Now, I know, like I said, this is more about weddings. I know we've touched upon when couples go get married and have babies, and you do naming ceremonies, but also you also are involved with funerals, and I just wanted to touch upon that purely because you're here with me today, and I know
yeah. That's fine.
funerals are sad, and we don't want to talk about them, but it's the inevitable. We're all born to die at some stage, and you also get involved with funeral ceremonies, don't you?
I do, yeah. I mean, I'm
I
a
mean, I'm a
qualified
qualified
celebrant,
celebrant.
um, and I am a member of the Fellowship of Professional Celebrants.
Right.
So I've done training in weddings and namings, and I've also and vow renewals. I've also done funeral training as well.
Okay.
It's completely different because
Is that
obviously the sentiments are different. The occasion's obviously a very sad one when you do a funeral. But having said that, I think the beautiful thing about having a celebrant is that it's a celebration of life, of that person's life. And, you know, when we write the ceremonies, again, they're bespoke, totally bespoke about that person. You know, everything that's written there is about their life, about their sentiments, about what they did throughout their life, you know, their work life, their marriage, children, everybody that is wanting to be included is included in that ceremony. So it fully reflects the achievements and the mark that person's left on people's hearts. So the ceremonies and the eulogies that we write, that celebrants, and I obviously I can't speak for everybody, but for myself, I make sure that it's a tribute to that person's life. And you know, the amount of thanks that I've had afterwards, and people have said that it's really been beautiful. Thank you for those few moments you brought my family member back into that room. So the ceremonies that I've conducted, I've made them as uplifting as I can under the circumstances and as meaningful as I can, so that people go away with some warmth at the end.
And again, are they non-religious then, or you can add a bit of kind of spirituality to them?
Yeah, we can. So I've done a celebrant funeral for a Hindu lady, and it was family friends actually, but they asked me to conduct the ceremony. But they also had the Panditji there. So the Panditji did all the religious part, and I did the eulogy, the tributes, the reading of poems and readings that the family wanted. You know, we brought it all together. I sort of officiated it, and the Panditji did his part as well. So it can work really well with both, because I think the difficulty is a lot of families don't realise that they can have a celebrant as well as a Pandit or Gyaniji or whoever it is, or even a Christian minister. They can have the celebrant alongside that, and it saves them getting up and reading. And it's such a traumatic time for families. They're so emotional. I mean, I've done it myself at family funerals. It's not easy to do when you're emotionally attached to that person who's passed away. So the celebrant will reflect your wishes in that ceremony. And again, Zoom ceremonies have been a thing now because of the recent developments that we've had. And sadly, with the losses of so many people, people have missed out on having the funeral and the send-off that they wanted for their loved one. So Zoom ceremonies, again, in some ways have been really useful because they've been able to include people from abroad who perhaps wouldn't have even come to the original ceremony. But having said that, they've been included in the Zoom ceremony or the webcast that we've done. So
Well, great. Well, look, Jazz, it's been lovely talking to you here tonight.
Thank you.
And I really look forward to next year, because I know that we've got a few weddings coming up next year. And I know that we're hoping to join Mary at some point in Malta, because Mary's joining us right now as well, all the way in Malta.
Hi, Mary.
We also have Jaswinder Hardy, who's joining with us, and she's talking about spicing up your life. I won't go into too much detail about spicing up your life, because I don't. But I'm sure, you know, the amazing celebrant here can help spice up your life if you need a bit of spice. You know, she'll get all those masalas together.
Right.
You're saying, is saying, sister, you're amazing. I think she is amazing, and also saying that the pumping station that you're talking about is amazing. Sonoben Dave is saying, sorry, had to leave, but thank you very much to Kriti and Jazz. Thank you to you two for joining us. And Pooja Jatani, you're also joining us. Is saying hello to both. We have we've had lots of people that have been joining us in and out. So thank you very much to everybody that's been joining us here tonight, and thank you very much to you, Jazz. Finally, before you go, is there anything you'd like to say?
Yes, contact me if you want a ceremony.
Yes, so no, absolutely.
My details obviously are on Facebook, on Instagram, Infinite Celebrations by Jazz. Look me up, Jazz Biant. You know, I would say read up on celebrancy, see what it's about, and see if it's for you, because it's an option. Absolutely. It's definitely an option for you to use. Don't rule it out. And just think of the possibilities. It's so unlimited. It's incredible. And it's a brilliant profession to be in. And I'm really looking forward to next year and some trips abroad with you, Brithy, to do these fabulous weddings.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's make this happen. And
Yeah,
once
definitely.
again, for those people that would like more details about the work that Jazz does, do get in touch with her directly. She's on Insta, she's on Facebook, she's on LinkedIn, and in fact, very popular here in the Midlands. I have seen her work myself as a luxury wedding planner, and I'm very, very impressed. And I look forward to working with Jazz for future weddings and events as well. So thank you very much to Jazz, and hope to speak to you again very soon, and see you again very soon as well. But thank you very much, Jazz.
Thanks,
And take
Brithy.
care.
Thank you for having me. It's been lovely.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye. Well, that was Jazz, and once again, for those of you that want Jazz's details, you can find them on either Insta or on Facebook, or of course you can contact me, and I'll happily give you her details. I'd like to thank you all for joining me here on Facebook Live, and of course on YouTube. I will be back again next week with yet another guest here on Facebook Live to talk more about weddings and about just other things. So do stay tuned. From me, Pretty Raichura, luxury wedding planner, a very good night to all of you. Bye bye.